Welcome to another episode of Darkest Side of History, where we unravel the lives of the most controversial figures to ever walk this earth. Today we delve into the life of Aleister Crowley, a man whose very name has become synonymous with dark mysticism and occultism. Born Edward Alexander Crowley on October 12, 1875, in Warwickshire, England, Crowley was raised in a devoutly religious household. His parents were members of the Exclusive Brethren, a strict Christian sect. Crowley's father, a preacher, had a profound influence on him until his death when Crowley was just 11. This event marked a turning point in young Crowley's life, sparking a rebellion against religious dogma that would define his path. Crowley's education at Cambridge University offered him a taste of freedom and indulgence. Here, he pursued poetry, mountaineering, and a growing interest in esoteric knowledge. An accomplished mountaineer, Crowley made several significant climbs, including an ambitious but unsuccessful expedition on K2, showcasing his fearless nature and relentless pursuit of the extraordinary. It was during his university years that Crowley discovered the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a society dedicated to the study of the occult. Crowley's intense personality and thirst for power led to internal conflicts within the group, but this was only the beginning of his deeper foray into mysticism. In 1904, during a stay in Cairo, Crowley claimed to have received a series of communications from an entity known as Aiwas. These messages formed the basis of the Book of the Law, the sacred text that became the foundation of his new religious philosophy. Thelema. Central to Thelema was the maxim, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." Crowley's teachings emphasized individual will, liberation from societal norms, and the pursuit of one's true purpose. Crowley's rituals were infamous for their complexity and audacity. He incorporated ceremonial magic that included chanting, invocations, and intricate symbolic gestures designed to summon spiritual entities and channel power. He made use of sacred symbols like the pentagram and unicursal hexagram to amplify mystical energy. One of Crowley's most controversial practices was sexual magic, where he integrated sexuality into his rituals to harness spiritual power. Inspired by both Western esotericism and Eastern tantric practices, these acts were viewed as sacred rites meant to bridge the physical and spiritual realms. Crowley believed that sexual energy could be a potent force for achieving enlightenment and breaking societal constraints. Drug use was another element in Crowley's rituals. Substances such as opium, hashish, and peyote were used to alter states of consciousness, which Crowley believed helped him transcend the boundaries of the conscious mind and access deeper spiritual insights. Rumors of blood sacrifice contributed to Crowley's dark reputation. Although tales of human sacrifice were sensationalized, Crowley did speak cryptically about symbolic or animal offerings, believing that blood contained potent life force energy essential for summoning powerful spirits. At his Abbey of Thelema in Sicily, Crowley conducted group ceremonies that included meditation, chanting, and acts that pushed the limits of conventional morality. These rituals, sometimes involving sex and drugs, were designed to break down psychological barriers and liberate participants from traditional moral constraints. Crowley's practices were shocking to his contemporaries, fueling sensationalist press coverage that branded him the wickedest man in the world. The Abbey of Thelema became infamous for its libertine rites and rumored sacrilegious acts. Accusations of blasphemy and immoral behavior led to his expulsion from Italy in 1923, cementing his notoriety. Despite his notoriety, Crowley's influence on modern spiritual and occult practices is undeniable. He authored numerous works on mysticism, tarot, and ritual magic that continue to be studied by occultists to this day. His exploration of altered states of consciousness, integration of sexuality and spirituality, and use of symbolic rituals have influenced countercultures, music, and even modern magical societies. Crowley died in 1947, impoverished and largely dismissed as a deluded eccentric. Yet in the decades that followed, he became a countercultural icon, revered by artists, musicians, and seekers of alternative spiritual paths. His influence reached writers like H.P. Lovecraft, William S. Burroughs, and Alan Moore, who drew inspiration from his esoteric themes. Filmmakers, such as Stanley Kubrick, infused their work with a similar mystical atmosphere. Eyes Wide Shut is particularly notable for its ritualistic imagery that evokes Crowley's secretive influence. Crowley's legacy also permeated the music world. Bands like Black Sabbath and the Beatles incorporated occult themes in their art, while Led Zeppelin's guitarist Jimmy Page was so captivated by Crowley's teachings that he purchased Crowley's former home, Boleskine House. David Bowie, too, referenced Crowley in his song Quicksand, with the line, "I'm closer to the golden dawn," immersed in Crowley's uniform. Aleister Crowley remains a polarizing figure, a man whose life embodied the tension between profound enlightenment and moral transgression. Whether seen as a prophet, a poet, or simply a provocateur, Crowley's legacy invites us to question where the line between genius and infamy truly lies. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Darkest Side of History. Stay tuned as we continue to explore more of history's most unsettling characters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.